On November 4th, 2021, I posted a short about this baby carrot PEZ invention, and it went viral. Well, it went viral by my standards. And as a creative, this feels great. I mean, I feel proud, I feel happy. I love that over 45,000 people have seen my short. But it makes you wonder, how do you replicate that success? Like, where do you go next? What learnings do you take from that? For example, why was it viewed 25 times more on TikTok than it was on YouTube? What made this content so interesting to so many people, and how do I even find the answers to those questions? Well, in this video, I want to talk about the short that I made, what I've learned from its growth, and how we all need to celebrate the little things in life. So before we get into that though, I think you need to experience the short for yourself. So here it is. This is the Carrot Crammer. It combines the fun of a PEZ dispenser with all the health benefits of vegetables. Never again will your kids complain about eating their carrots, because this addictive mechanism is just too satisfying. It can be loaded with 12 of your freshest baby carrots, then leave it in the fridge and whip it out when a dose of vitamins are needed. They will chow down until the cartridge is empty and then beg for more. Dad, have some more carrots. I'll be right there, son. That wink at the end. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's great. So where did the idea for the short even come from? And the answer to that is actually from my future mother-in-law. She actually sent us a care package, and it had some decorations, but it also had PEZ. And yes, I'm one of those people who loves chalky candies, and not everyone does, but I love a good PEZ. But let's be honest, the best part of a PEZ is actually the mechanism. It's just, you tilt the head back, and then it just presents you this little rectangular prism of happiness. Well, as a mechanical engineer, I was inspecting the mechanism of the PEZ, and it was really quite impressive. I was like admiring it, and you'd be surprised, like with other toys on the market, like there's a ton of forethought and creativity that gets put into them. For example, there's a spring that pushes the head back into its upright position after you let go of it, and it's not a metal spring, it's actually just some sheets of plastic that have been molded into the other parts that are being deflected, and then they want to spring back when you let go. So it's not even an extra component. There's less assembly cost, less assembly time. There's not even a piece for a child to choke on. And I think that if I ever change jobs, I want to go work for a toy company. Being a design engineer trying to put smiles on people's faces, that just sounds great. And in the spirit of that, I decided I should make the world's largest PEZ dispenser and set a Guinness record. But after mulling on it for a little while, I realized that was maybe a little bit too big for my britches, so I decided to scale it back to just an oversized PEZ dispenser. And the carrots came into the picture because my lovely fiance likes to snack on carrots quite frequently, and it just like matched. It was just those two ideas smashed into each other. Baby carrots, giant PEZ dispenser. That's a union, it's gonna be great. And the components that make up the PEZ dispenser are a pusher that pushes up the carrots. You've got a carrier that holds the row of carrots. You've got a casing that contains them all and prevents the carrots from falling out. You have a head that can tilt on an axle. And then finally, you have a central spring that is pushing up on the pusher. And this is what kind of creates the entire mechanism's feel. So after all that, my PEZ had finally come to life. I filmed what I thought was a funny short, and I posted it. It raced past 10K views, and it kept rising for essentially 2 weeks. Honestly, it's still getting views now. And at the time of filming, 45,122 people have seen my video. So, looking back at the results, the question still stands, what do I do with this moving forward? And clearly I decided to make a follow-up video, this video that you're watching right now. But honestly, this was more just for me to be able to talk about my experience with it. The real question is, how does this affect my content moving forward? And it is all confusing, but I do see 3 general themes to take some feedback from. Audience demographics, platform focus, and engaged comments. Who were the people that decided to watch my short? On TikTok, it was apparently young people. Now, they provided me essentially no data, especially when compared to YouTube, but I do get to see who chose to follow my account after watching the short. And for essentially every profile that I clicked on, it was a youngin', a kid. I love the fact that they watched the short and that they enjoyed it, that they commented on it, but to be honest, it's not the audience that I was expecting. You know, I was thinking that it was gonna be more of a parent or a maker or hobbyist, an engineer. And the story is even weirder on YouTube. They're telling me that 70% of my viewers were living in India, 11% in Pakistan, and that less than 1% of the people who watched the short were based in the United States. And again, I love that they saw the short, I love that they enjoyed it, but again, I wasn't expecting that to be my audience. And on YouTube, I get to see the demographics data for all of my other videos. And this audience in India and Pakistan, those aren't the people who were watching my videos before. It was the majority of people in the United States. Do you think it's a coincidence that my highest viewed piece of content has an audience that's completely different than all the rest of my content? And maybe that means I don't know who my audience is and that I need to pivot my titles and thumbnails to better match the content that I'm making. Or maybe it's the other way around and that I have this audience, but I'm making the wrong content. What I do know is that this project was incredibly fun to design, super fun to build. I was literally giggling while I was filming it, and I think it's one of my best shorts thus far. So maybe the answer is I should just keep making content that ignites these emotions in me, and time and or the algorithm will reward me one day with viewers. I cannot unsee the fact that TikTok produced 25 times more views than YouTube. That's a world apart. And in terms of video performance, the shorts on both platforms produce similar results. The average watch time on TikTok was 23 out of the 28 seconds of the short, and on YouTube it was 21 seconds. And for more evidence of the difference in performance, on TikTok, this skyrocketed my followers from 20 to 450. And when I look at the YouTube data, it produced 9 subscribers. And yes, they're different platforms, and followers and subscribers have different relative values, but still, does this mean that YouTube is out and TikTok is in? Well, no, of course not. But it does mean I cannot look past TikTok as something small and on the side. It has potential to get attention, audience, and maybe some of that even spills over into YouTube. But fundamentally, it seems like TikTok is a place that I need to make sure I stay consistent with and don't lose track of. I had a number of people comment sus on the clip, which I thought was funny because, well, I guess it means I did my job making a fake infomercial. I got a few people saying that they didn't need any tricks to eat their carrots, which is great to hear, that at least some of the kids of the world don't need any convincing to eat their root vegetables. But most interesting was a whole vein of comments of people asking me to put Cheetos inside the PEZ dispenser, which is a great idea, and I might do a future video on it. It really gets me thinking about cheese balls in particular. I think there's a really cool flinging, shooting, dispensing sort of mechanism for that. Regardless of how I adapt myself or my content or my style moving forward, what I do have is great appreciation and thankfulness for all of you that decided to watch my short. I made something that resulted in 45,122 people enjoying their slice of the world a little bit more for a combined total of 283 hours. The short may not be a viral video for other people, but it is for me. And this video that you're watching right now is me trying to enjoy the little things. And don't forget to yourself, and definitely don't forget to make cool stuff.